do so. Thank you, Dr. Lauran. I'm pleased to introduce our acting dean, who also happens to be a BST alum, Reverend Dr. Valerie Miles-Tribble. Dr. Miles-Tribble engages liberation theology as a womanist scholar, practical theologian, and community activist pastor to raise critical awareness of systemic oppressions. As the 2021 GTU Distinguished Faculty Lecturer, she holds dual GTU department alignment in theology and ethics and religion and practice to integrate theoethics with intersections of social justice practice in church and society for restorative republic approaches. Dr. Miles-Tribble currently chairs the GTU Religion and Practice Department and serves as core doctoral faculty. She authored the monograph, Change Agent Church in Black Lives Matter's Times, Urgency for Action, and is the author of numerous journal articles and other publications. You can find her full CV and bio on BST's website. Dr. Valerie graduated from BST in 2001 with her Master in Divinity. Dr. Valerie, thank you for taking the time to join us today and for your remarks. The floor is yours.
Thank you, Melissa. Wonderful introduction. Hello, everyone. I'm a proud alumni of was ABSW, now BST, and I hope that you are too. I'm not going to speak for very long. I just want to reiterate that you as alums are the backbone of this scholastic community. We need you to be actively involved because you are not only supporters, and we know you get those letters because I get those letters asking for our fiscal and financial support, but you're also recruiters. You have circles of influences and places that you move through where you can identify those who are feeling a call on their lives, go deeper in their vocation, and you can help us recruit to BST, whether it's in your churches or other public spheres where you are. You're also valued resources. You have years of experience in your particular specialty that makes you experts, that makes you able to be skilled mentors for our students. So if you are still active in any aspect of ministry in an organization, whether it's church or nonprofit or not, please consider being a mentor supervisor to some of our interns. And if you are working in a certain area that our students could tap in for their research or for their dissertation work, please be open to be contacted. And so we really appreciate having this connection with our alums. And we hope that you'll also help us recruit other alums because we all graduated with classes, amen? So there's others in your graduating class that are not on this Zoom call. And we need to encourage them. I think I sent Melissa 2 or 3. Email them, tell them to come. So we hope that you will encourage classmates, colleagues to join us as well. We are only as strong as our alumni community. And so I want to thank you for joining us this evening. And I'm honored to serve in this capacity through July. And then you will have Dr. Flesher back, I promise. Thank you very much.
Thank you so much, Dr. Valerie. We appreciate your enthusiastic remarks. Love it. So today we have 15 alumni who are celebrating graduation anniversaries. I don't think all of them are with us today, but that's okay. We'll go through them as the list. Each alum will receive a pretty certificate like this one and one of our new alumni t-shirts. So
swag.
Yeah, swag. Exactly. So to create a dynamic format, we're going to do something a little bit different tonight. I'll introduce the alum and ask where they're zooming from, and then I'll ask a question. And Sorry, I just want to make sure. Sorry, there we go. And so I'm going to ask a question, and the alum is actually going to choose a number, 1, 2, or 3. Sorry, this is the opposite for me. And then on the back of it is a question. So I'll read the question, and then the alum will have 1 minute to respond, and I actually have a timer. And if you don't like the question, you can just pass. That's totally fine. And then at the end of it, some music will play, kind of like we're at the Oscars. And then afterwards, I'll replace the question, the number, with another question. And so to help me demonstrate, I am so excited. Oh, and one more thing, sorry. We're going to start with the 60th anniversary folks, and then work our way up to the 2000s. But to help me demonstrate, and I'm so grateful she agreed to do this with me. Thank you. First up is Reverend Dr. Lauran Lisa Ling. I'm so sorry, Lauren. I do this every time, and this is now recorded on YouTube. So, Dr. Lauran Lisa Ing. She's celebrating her 20th graduation anniversary. Dr. Lauran graduated in 2005 with her Master of Divinity and joined BST staff as the director for Thriving Congregations Initiative Grants, which serves Asian American congregation and ministries. So Dr. Lauran, again, thanks for helping me out today. And where are you Zooming from?
I am Zooming from my beautiful office here on BST's campus, just
Excellent.
2 doors down from you, Melissa.
Thank you. Love it. So which number would you like?
I would like to see what is behind door number 2, please.
Okay. Door number 2. Sorry, I was just getting my timer. If you could trade lives with any fictional character for a day, who would it be and why?
Yes. Critical here is the for a day. I appreciate that. I would trade with Lucy from The Lion, the Witch, and the Wardrobe. Probably on the day she first goes through the wardrobe, or on the day that she receives her gifts from Father Christmas, but not the other days. They're a little bit too stressful for me, but either of those days would be fine.
I love it. Thank you. You've got some time left. Do you want to say anything else?
Just that it's exciting to be here with everybody. I was also here 20 years ago when it was ABSW, and so I'm excited. I have a little preview of some of the questions that you're going to possibly choose, and I'll be excited to hear everybody's memories and wonderful experiences that they had in their time studying here at this wonderful institution. So thanks, Melissa.
Thank you, Lauren. I appreciate it. Okay, so first we have Bill and Ruth Buchanan. They both graduated in 1965 and received their Masters of Religious Education. They are celebrating 60 years. Bill taught in the Oakland Public Schools for 36 years, after which he retired and served another 13 years as an early childhood education consultant. And Ruth was first a teacher and then became a principal for 32 years in the Oakland Unified School District. And after retiring, worked on several projects for the school district. Bill, Ruth, would one of you like to go? Well, where you said at the beginning you're in Washington? Oh.
There.
Yeah.
We just flew up today because Saturday is my sister's memorial service. But
sorry.
I'm the one that worked for 36 years with Oakland Public School and then 13 years afterwards.
Oh, okay.
And sometimes in my same job and the other. But one of the things that I am most thankful for are the friendships that we developed during that time. It was BBDS when we were there. And so we've seen 2 changes, which have been great. But we still communicate with many of those who were in our class or just in the seminary at that time. Some of them weren't in the same class. And the strength to go out and do things. what I got at the seminary helped so much in my job because I worked with the early childhood education program. And many of our children were children who were from dysfunctional families where they were living with parents. There was a lot of just support that we had to give the families and what we learned there at the seminary. And I keep saying that my pastoral counseling class was probably the one I used so much in my work. And that's what I remember a lot.
Yeah,
That's
Ruth.
beautiful.
And I did not work quite 36 years. I worked 28 years, but I was in the same early childhood program and had this first as a teacher and then as a principal, and had the same kinds of experiences that Ruth had. But at the same time, I also spent about 30 years as a youth advisor in 3 different churches, which was really a wonderful, wonderful experience.
Amazing. Thank you. I really appreciate your testimony. It's just so encouraging to hear. Thank you. Do you guys want to answer a question? And if you don't,
we already
okay.
answered everything, didn't
okay.
we?
I love it. Yeah, I know. But yeah.
Forgot the timer.
No, don't even worry about it. Your testimony, like I was saying, was really compelling. And so thank you so much for sharing, and congratulations on your 60th graduation anniversary. And
we also have our wedding anniversary in June 16th.
Wow, in June. Awesome.
Guess where we met?
I love it. Love it. Very cool. Okay. Well, thank you so much. We appreciate it. And well, great. Thank you. Okay. So next, I don't think he's here with us tonight. Is Donald Gwynne here? No? Okay. And same thing, I don't think Curt McCormack is here either. Okay. Well, moving on to our 50th graduation anniversaries, we have Reverend Dr. Aidsand Wright-Riggins. He graduated in 1975 and received his Master of Divinity. He's held pastoral and administrative positions, including as Executive Director of ABHMS. And he also happens to be BST affiliate faculty. Dr. Aidsand, where are you zooming from tonight?
I'm zooming from Collegeville, Pennsylvania.
Excellent.
About 30 miles northwest of Philadelphia.
Wonderful. It's good to see you.
Thank you. Good to be here.
Would you like to do a question, or do you want just some time to talk?
Wow, that's interesting. I could I would like some time to talk. I would,
go for it.
It's just interesting to be a part of this, and I'm just so happy to connect with the school and with other alumni and those that are keeping it going on. I just wanted to really mention some names that most of you may not even remember that were just really a part of my seminary life and experience. I just want I want to lift up Robert Lauran, who was an Old Testament professor that really shaped me. I want to lift up Genevieve Kelly, who was the librarian at the Covina campus where I served. Bill Herzog, who really gave me a different perspective on ministry and the New Testament. Jan and Myron Chartier, who were in Christian education and really helped to shape me. Cubby Rutenberg and Bernard Ram. When I came through ABSW 1972 to 1975, I believe we only had one African-American student per class. If we didn't graduate in our class, we didn't have an African-American student at that time. It only hit me just a few days ago that we did not have any African-American women at all in that time when I was coming through. and just a handful of other women. But so it is good to see some changes in the school, to see what is happening now, particularly the Berkeley campus under the new leadership, and just very, very proud to have been a part of ABSW, Berkeley School of Theology.
Excellent. Thank you so much, Dr. Aidsand. Applause. Thank you. So next we're gonna honor, I don't think he's here, but Douglas Sharp. No, okay. That's okay. But next up, I'm really pleased to introduce Reverend Katie Choy-Wong from the class of 1980. She received her Master of Divinity from BST and is celebrating her 45-year graduation anniversary. She is a published author, speaker, retired pastor, former BST faculty, and on the BST Board of Trustees since 2022. And as of 2024, she is our she's the chair of our Board of Trustees. And so, Katie, where are you Zooming from tonight?
I'm from outer space.
I love it.
Actually, I'm from San Francisco, zooming from there, from home. Yeah, I said I have classmates. Yeah, right here. My roommate is Sue Kamarari, and then Nancy Hall was a classmate. And so it's good to see all of you again. I guess I'll just share a little bit. I don't know what those questions are, so I'm a little suspect of it. So I think I'll just
nothing nefarious.
Okay.
Yeah.
No, I just excited to be chairing the board. It's kind of a full circle. When I first came, Covina and Berkeley just combined, merged. And so it was a very traumatic time where there was a lot of chaos, and faculty and administration did not get along. In fact, a couple of my colleagues who ended up not going to ABSW, ended up going to Fuller because of the turmoil that was happening. But there were some key people that held us together. Some of the faculty, Bill Malkinson was one, Bill Herzog was another. But also just the students. I think the students were what really made it a wonderful time for me, even though it was a very difficult time. The students were the ones that kept each other, supported each other, encouraged each other, and really we became close. Some of you are, Nancy knows and Sue knows that we became very close. And what I enjoyed the most was the nights we would go to each other's apartment and watch MASH. That was our weekly fun time, right? But it was a good time, and so it's nice to see the seminary where it is now. When I was there, wasn't as many women. I think 30% were women, and there also was very few minorities that were people of color that were part of the seminary. So it's nice to see the growth there, and just the wonderful, I guess, atmosphere that the seminary now has. And so I'm really, I told Dr. Brenneman that when I was asked to be chair of the trustees, I said, well, the only reason I would agree to this is that the seminary is in good shape. If the seminary had any conflict or difficulty, to say, I don't think I'll be interested in it. I'm retired now. I don't think I need that. So, but anyway, I'm enjoying the experience of being on the board. Thank you.
Excellent. Thank you so much, Katie. We appreciate it.
You're welcome.
Okay, the next person, I know she's here, also from the class of 1980, is Reverend Dr. Nancy Hall. Like Katie was saying, she graduated the same year and celebrating her 45th graduation anniversary. She received her MDiv here. Dr. Hull was ordained in June 1980 and has held pastoral positions. She taught at BST for many years and is actually faculty emeritus, specifically Associate Professor Emeritus of Ministry, Music, and Contextual Education. Dr. Nancy, where are you zooming from tonight?
About 2 miles from BST.
I love it.
I
I love it.
forever.
Excellent.
Just you drive down Dwight Way about 2 miles and make a couple turns. That's where I live. It's great to see everyone here. A number of people that are very familiar to me, particularly Katie, my classmate. I wish there were more from the class of 1980 with us this evening. It was a great class. And Katie's absolutely right. I will never forget coming onto campus for the first time. I really had no knowledge of ABSW much before I walked on campus, which I could tell stories about, but won't. And we were such a bright-eyed, bushy-tailed group of new juniors. I think there were about 15 of us or so. We had no idea what we were walking into. And I think that our class and the classes around us were really forged in the flame during one of the most, as Katie said, intense and times of turmoil in the school's history. And ABSW, BST, BVDS has had its ups and downs through the years. So nothing new about that. But it did make us stronger. It did build wonderful friendships and gave us a lot of good information about how to deal with conflict. Not that we always dealt with it well, but there's something to be said for being in a stressful time. And then I would just like to note 4 people that were incredible mentors to me while I was a student. That was Dr. Eldon Ernst, professor of history, and later one of the best deans ABSW has ever had. Dr. Bob Mitchell, who was my mentor in worship and music. Dr. Bill Herzog, who totally opened my eyes from day one about the New Testament in particular. And then Dr. John Skoglund, who was another very important mentor to me and who I was later privileged to teach with side by side when I came on in 1989 and taught for 30 years until 2019. So a lot of good memories and a lot of joy at seeing the school continue. And I just wanted to answer one question that I think you sent out in email. I'll just choose it on my own. If you could instantly become an expert in any skill or hobby, what would it be? And it would be figure skating.
Very cool.
I would love to be an elite figure skater, but that ship has sailed. So.
Did you just watch the 4 Continents competition? And if you didn't, it's okay.
Watch it all. Have since I was about 10 years old.
Yes. So, yeah. And Worlds is in.
And I'll just add one other thing. I did retire as pastor of First Baptist Church of Berkeley, which in its final decade was housed on the ABSW campus, which was just a wonderful thing for all of us. I pastored for 13 years alongside with my teaching. And since then, I've somewhat shifted into working with the performing arts after a lifetime in the church. And I'm getting a lot of satisfaction out of supporting performing arts groups in our community.
Thank you. Congratulations again.
Thank you.
So I don't think our next person's here. Dr. Jini? No, that's okay. I do think this person's here from the class of 1985, Reverend Lauran D. Bethell. Reverend Bethell received her Master of Divinity and is celebrating her 40th graduation anniversary. For over 35 years, Lauran has served victims of human trafficking, first as the founding director of New Life Center in Thailand for 14 years, and then as a global consultant supporting anti-trafficking efforts worldwide at international ministries. Dr. Lauran, where are you Zooming from tonight?
Well, easily enough, I'm Zooming from Fresno, California. If we'd done this 2 weeks ago, it would have been Bulgaria. And in 2 more weeks, it will be Ethiopia. So,
oh, wow. Oh, wow.
Yeah, I'm still traveling as a global consultant and all over the world. And just thankful that God has given me good health to be able to continue doing that. Yeah, my seminary career was life-changing. I sometimes, when I got into my work in Thailand, I kept thinking, initially I thought, why didn't God make me a social worker to do this work with victims and then I realized that because God wanted me to think much more broadly and theologically, rather than the narrow framework of social work, and to really be able to think outside the box and really, and so God knew what God was doing to send me through those 3 years of seminary. My memories living in Berkeley were fabulous. We got together in the evenings, a group of us, in my apartment on Wednesdays, and we called our little gang of, I don't know, about 20 of us that would squeeze into my little apartment in Benvenue. We would call ourselves the Baptist Feminist Liberation Front because that was the most outrageous name we could come up with, the BFLF we were referred to. And we did all kinds of acts of subversion, including all showing up with pillows. When it seemed like all the married women on campus were pregnant, we all showed up with the pillows under our t-shirts to but we did a whole lot of other stuff too that was a lot of fun, including drinking wine spritzers every Wednesday night, which was a rather subversive activity considering that we weren't supposed to have alcohol on campus at that time. But so that's just a little thing. And I looked at your questions too, and the one I will choose, I'll stay in control of this thing. If I could choose to be any, well, the one that Lauran answered about any character for a day, I would want to be Wonder Woman because I'd want to be able to, I don't know if that's from a novel, it's a comic book anyway, it's on paper. And because I just want to be able to zap around the world and save more lives.
I love it. That is so fun. Thank you. And congratulations again.
Thank you.
Okay. I don't think Richard is here. And I know that Denise is in the Zoom, but I don't think Denise, are you back? Excellent. Okay. From 1995. Reverend Denise Bowman Wiley, she received her Master's of Divinity and is celebrating 30 years. While as a student as BST, she served on the Board of Trustees as the student representative. And Reverend Denise, where are you Zooming from tonight? Oh, I think you're muted. I think you're muted. Okay, good.
I've been on too many Zoom calls. I shouldn't have done that. Sorry.
No, it's okay. Fine.
I'm Zooming from Bellingham, Washington on the Salish Sea, and we have our home looks east, and so we see Mount Baker and the sun coming up every day. So that's kind of my wonderful retirement thing is I get to sit and drink coffee and watch the sun come up every day over the water and the mountains.
Thank you.
It's a good way to retire.
Yeah, love it. Would you like to answer a question or do you want to just take a couple of minutes to talk?
I'm game. Give me a question.
Oh, wow. Awesome. I love it. Thank you. Okay. So
I'll
which
take
one would
three.
you like?
Very
Three?
Trinitarian.
I love that. What was your favorite spot on campus and why?
Ooh, that's a really good question. I think my little apartment, I had one of those bay windows that looked out on the street, and my desk actually was there, so I would be writing papers and looking at the people walking by instead of really focusing. You could probably tell from my papers, but I loved it. I loved watching the Hasidic Jews walk by to go worship, and the, kids from Cal campus. And it was just so much of a little window onto the world. There was so much going on, and the naked guy would run by periodically, and there was always something, and so it was never boring writing papers.
I love
I
it.
was there at an interesting time.
Yeah, sounds like it.
Yeah.
Sounds like it. Well, thank you so much for being gamed and answering one of the wild card questions.
Oh yeah, no problem.
And
No problem.
congratulations.
Yeah, I have good memories of my time there and what we did.
Oh, actually, well, Allison, I'm about to introduce you, but you just asked a very great question. Was there ever a non-interesting time at the seminary? So, and so without further ado, celebrating her 25th graduation anniversary is Reverend Dr. Allison Tanner. She received her MDiv from BST. Dr. Tanner is pastor of public witness at Lakeshore Avenue Baptist Church and the national organizer for apartheid-free communities at American Friends Service Committee. And Dr. Allison, where are you joining us from tonight?
I'm joining you from my home office in El Cerrito.
All right. Would you like to answer one of the wildcard questions, or would you like some time to just talk?
Oh no, I would much rather just talk. Some are really good questions, but some are a little scary. So I'm just gonna so one of the interesting eras in which I was in seminary was the disfellowshipping era, and that very much shaped my ministry and what it meant to insist on justice and be, even if you had to be a minority voice in the church, and then seeing that trajectory over my professional career has been very empowering, actually. And I ended up, becoming a pastor at a church that had been disfellowshipped, and to see the ways in which making a clear stand for embracing the least of these, how that benefited the church in the long run in allowing us to continue to stay relevant and have integrity with the ministry. The other thing that happened in seminary that deeply shaped me was that I lost my sister and suddenly in a car accident, and I remember the care with which I was encouraged to allow that experience both to deconstruct my faith and reconstruct my faith, and those are skills that I have used over the decades. The one story I want to share, because I had a real come full circle experience just this week. One of my first seminary professors in my first seminary, I took a course from Dr. Alan Busak, who was a visiting professor, really kind of an integral shaping of my experience. He was the class was on First Samuel and the struggles between whether Israel wanted a king or didn't want a king, and learning how to read from the text below, recognizing that it was written from above. And so just this week, I was actually able to host a webinar where I was able to interview Dr. Busak, and I haven't interacted with him since then, but in my anti-apartheid work, I was able to do a webinar that featured Dr. Busak talking about growing up under South African apartheid, Reverend Wendell Griffin talking about growing up under Jim Crow apartheid, and a phenomenal Palestinian activist living in Canada that grew up in Nazareth under Israeli apartheid, and they were able to share their different experiences growing up under apartheid and their joint experiences and working to end Israeli apartheid. And that was just such a profound experience for me to be able to facilitate that conversation and to recognize that my time at ABSW played an integral role in me being able to be the voice of the interviewee the interviewer in that moment. So I'm kind of enjoying that bit of full circle this week.
That's incredible. Thank you, Dr. Allison, and congratulations again. Our last one is Reverend Dorothy T. Staples from the class of 2005. Reverend Staples received her MDiv and is celebrating her 20th graduation anniversary. She is an ordained Baptist preacher and has held faculty positions at Leadership Institute at Allen Temple, LEOT. Reverend Dorothy, where are you Zooming from tonight? I know she's here. I can just see that she's muted. Dorothy, are you there? I could hear something for a second. Oh no. I think she might have.
We can see her now.
Okay. Okay,
So
great.
now I'm gonna click ask to unmute.
She's muted.
Yeah.
I'm gonna click ask to unmute Reverend Staples. See if you can click
Thank
on
you,
that.
Lauren. Dorothy, are you able to unmute yourself?
Okay, can you hear me?
Yes, excellent.
Okay, great. Thank you. Thank you.
No problem. Where are you Zooming from?
Yes, I'm Zooming from my home in Oakland, California.
Excellent.
And
yeah, go ahead.
Yes, I'm going to just speak if I could. It is such an honor and pleasure to just be in the midst of such great people and just speak a few words of my experience at ABSW. That was one of the turning points in my life. I would like to lift up one of the great professors at ABSW during that time, who was Reverend Dr. J. Alfred Smith Sr., who was an outstanding professor of preaching, and who was also my pastor at Allen Temple Baptist Church. Such a passionate and compassionate person who listened to my story of transformation and who was just really instrumental in my coming to ABSW as support, and he had so much wisdom. ABSW was a place where I developed a lot of relationships we are still friends today, people that I met there. And it was a door that opened into other areas of spirituality for me. After my seminary training, I went on to attend pastoral education at Sequoia Hospital, which is now Dignity Health, in their chaplaincy program. That was really, really a great program. And as a result of that, I spent 10 years as a chaplain for the United States Department of Veteran Affairs. And I just so enjoyed being able to just touch the lives of so many different people on a one-on-one basis. Now, I'm a preacher. I love preaching, but that one-on-one spiritual care really, really hit the spot for me. And I just want to say thank you to all of those who have come into my life through ABSW and in spiritual care altogether. So I'll just say thank you. And it is such an honor again to be a part of this session. And it's just brings back a lot of memories when I hear all of the great things that other people have experienced. So thank you.
Wonderful. Thank you so much, Dorothy. We appreciate it. Before we move on, I just want to name those who are celebrating anniversaries tonight that aren't present. So Reverend Richard Chung from the class of 1995, that's 30 years. Also, Dr. Jini M. Kilgore-Cockroft from the class of 1985, that's 40 years. For 50 years, Reverend Dr. Douglas R. Sharp, and that was from the class of 1975. Reverend Curt McCormack from the class of 1970, celebrating 55 years. And last but not least is Reverend Donald H. Gwynne from the class of 1970, celebrating 55 years. So thank you so much and congratulations on their anniversaries. And it looks like Dr. Curry is going to be celebrating his graduation anniversary next year. So
I actually got claimed by 2 different classes. So I actually claimed 67. So give me.
I love it. Love it.
Sounds like he wants to be celebrated twice.
Yeah.
No, I crept in during the initial year of the class of 66, so they claimed me, but I actually graduated with the class of 67, so they claimed me.
Very smooth. That's great.
Excellent. Thanks. All right. And so this is going to conclude our recording process. And then